He's been an award-winning media personality and producer. As a speaker, he's empowered over 1 million people from the stage. Now one of the leading business coaches and brand experts is taking over the world of on-demand audio. It's the Business Bully Podcast. Now here's the business bully himself, Dave Anderson.
Yeah, I love it when technology decides to do its own thing, people. Sorry about that, but guess what? This is the remix. Now you can take that as a metaphor for exactly what happens a lot of times when people have imposter syndrome. They don't really take the time to deal with it. They just say fuck it and go on about their day. And imposter syndrome and depression kind of go hand in hand. All right, so imposter syndrome is when you feel like you've gone someplace or been somewhere, or you have a job or a task to do or a responsibility, or you've been given a gift or been blessed in some type of way, and you feel like you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, talented enough, good looking enough, whatever the fill in the blank enough is to be in that position. And so what winds up happening is you feel inadequate, and you allow those feelings of inadequacy to fuck with your opportunity to make it happen. And I've been talking about imposter syndrome for years, simply because I've been suffering from it since 1987 when I started my career. I think that because I'm a kid from the hood, you know, a lot of the places that I've been and a lot of things that I currently do are impossible for most people who come from where I come from. As a matter of fact, went to a school where I did a career day, and, you know, I got to talk a lot with the students, and I was breaking down, you know, what I do and how I do it. And they were like, well, where are you from? I'm like, oh, I'm from like 6 blocks that way. And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I'm actually one of those people who made it out the hood, you know, whatever the hell that means to you. But, you know, it's hard, man. It's really hard. And it doesn't make it easier when you have other people sitting around doubting you, right? So you couple that with depression, you know, which is the chemical thing that happens in your brain that just keeps you from not wanting to do stuff. You know, and sometimes the overwhelm, the exhaustion, the anticipation, the anxiety, all those things get in there. So here's the thing that I'm here to tell you. Wherever I decide I'm going to be, that's exactly where the hell I belong. And that's exactly where the hell you belong. And I think so many times we get caught up in not believing in that, or believing that we're not worthy, or that someone's going to somehow find us out, that, you know, hey, maybe I'm not as experienced as this person, or hey, maybe I don't have as many degrees or college training as this other person, or hey, maybe I'm not as good looking with all this makeup off as I would be with this makeup on, or hey, you know what, I don't have the perfect body, or, you know, I'm not a tech wizard, or any of that stuff. Listen, man, if I had forget that. If I had a dime for every time imposter syndrome reared its ugly head in my life, I'd be a trillionaire. You know, what I'm going to tell you to do is to just start really positively reinforcing what you say to yourself and how you go about saying it. I'm going to tell you that your negative self-talk has more damage and more credibility than your positive self-talk. So you have to triple down on your positive self-talk. Are you perfect? Absolutely not. Hell, I'm not. But what I am is a person who's not going to let any limitation stop me. I don't care that you feel like other people are doing better. I don't care that you feel like you know, your shot's never going to come. Listen, I've been feeling like that for years. You know, a lot of you who follow me, I'm so gracious. Like, I'll talk to people and they'll be like, yeah, I've been following you for like 10, 15 years. And I'm like, for real? Damn, that's crazy. Like, you never know who's watching. You may be one person, one handshake, one show, one networking event, one email, one phone call away from that shot you've been looking for. So you don't have time to lay down and lay in it. Now, there's sometimes you just got to feel that moment and you got to deal with it because you're human. You're not a machine, but you don't get to live there. You can visit, but you don't want to live there. Trust me. You know, there is a comfort in giving up. People just love giving up. You want to know why? Giving up is easy. This young lady said to me at the same career there, she was like, what financial advice would you give? And I was talking about, the importance of a Roth IRA and maybe having an active portfolio, before your 17th birthday. By the time you're 25, you could easily become a millionaire just between those two things. And she was like, well, damn, if it was that easy, anybody could do it. I said, no. See, there's a difference between anybody could do it and everybody actually doing it. I know good and hell well that I shouldn't eat cheeseburgers, because if I eat too many cheeseburgers, my fat ass is going to stay fat. Yet and still, I'm fat, right? So knowledge isn't enough. You have to have the desire, and you have to have that aha moment. I've had my aha moment, and so I'm kind of chilling on the cheeseburgers. But, and I can only speak from my experience. Maybe yours is different. If you want to share something with me, feel free to go to dave@businessbullyshow.com. But after working with Wendy Williams, after working with DJ Clue, after working with Charlemagne and so many other people, even I felt some imposter syndrome when I was given the executive producer reins for the Ricky Smiley Morning Show. Even though the show had not gone into syndication, even though the show had had 5 or 6 producers before me and has had 7 after me, I was tasked with taking the show into syndication and growing the show. And I remember there were so many people who were saying, oh, well, he's a 28-year-old kid. What does he know? Oh, he can't do it. I mean, there were so many people against me. I didn't have time to be against myself, but I was. I was like, well, damn, maybe they're right. Maybe I can't do the job. Maybe I'm not the guy, And then I realized that I know, and when I say this, I need y'all to understand that the guy who had the job before me made double what they were paying me. So let's just say the guy before me was making a 200,000. Let's just say I made 100,000. False numbers, but let's just say that that's what it was. This guy failed. He failed. Yet and still, they paid the failure more than they paid the person who they believed could take the show where it needed to be. And sure enough, I put the show in 30 markets before we parted ways. And, every demo tape that I had to make, they had so many criticisms about it, until those demos started to secure radio station after radio station, Miami, Birmingham, Detroit, St. Louis, Baltimore, the whole nine. Like, we were killing it in really big markets, but people always got something to say, but then don't want to be the ones doing it. People always got an opinion, but you'll never see them nowhere. All they do is run their mouths. And so you got to realize that if they're running their mouths, let them run them. All you got to do is shut them up with results. Results beats everything. All you got to do is grind. Figure out a way to be smarter, faster, stronger. Do it. You can do it. It is hard. And I don't usually like to get on my motivational speaker bag, but I'm in my motivational speaker bag right now because somebody needs to hear this. It's going to be hard. It ain't easy. It's been 30 years and I'm nowhere near as well known as I feel I should be for the things that I've accomplished or the things that I've done, but I got to keep grinding. I got to keep pushing. Because what I realize is when I keep my foot on the neck of the powers that be, they have no choice but to yield. That's how I've gotten into places that most people haven't gotten into. That's how I've built relationships that most people haven't built. And don't get me wrong, I'm still suffering from depression. Every person who's a depression sufferer, it's the same as being an alcoholic. Not that you're addicted, but you never stop being a depression sufferer. Everybody's got their triggers and their things, and you got to take time for mindfulness and wellness. Shout out to my good friend Geneva Gardner, who has a thing called radical mindfulness. It's extremely important to be diligent in what you're consuming and what you're telling yourself. And we don't do enough of that. And so I really just wanted to come on here and let you know the way to cure this is, number 1, understand what it is. Number 2, any place God puts you, that's where you're supposed to be. Period. If your ass wasn't supposed to be, then God wouldn't put you where you're supposed to be. Hey, bars. But in all seriousness, man, I want you to embrace where you are right now. I know that, you're struggling. I know you got that job that you hate and you're trying to grind your way out of it, but yet still you ain't got on my calendar yet because you're talking about I don't have Dave Anderson money. Look, man, we developing programs for all budgets because it's important that we reach all people who really want to make it happen and be an entrepreneur. And then you just level up when you can. But I want you to know that you don't know who's watching, and you have an opportunity to be the example for somebody else. You know, when people come to me and say, listen, because of you, I didn't give up, like, that's a burden, but it's a beautiful burden to have, because people are inspired by what they see me doing. And so that means people are inspired by what they see you doing, whether you realize it or not, and whether you like it or not, whether or not you feel like that's fair, whether or not you think that's too much pressure, whether or not you don't feel like you're educated enough. No one cares. Get the job done. You can do it. You want to cure depression? Listen, get moving, get up, get your blood pumping, make something happen, go hard, grind hard. Let's go. That is my advice, man. Now, I'm going to be rocking and rolling all week long, man. I'm going to be hitting you with podcast after podcast after podcast, but I wanted to give you a quick word. Also, if you have not taken advantage of my Black Friday specials, they're going on up until Cyber Monday. You get a $4,000 package for $997. But instead of paying $997, you're just going to pay $150 when you use the code BlackFriday18. Go to bit.ly/bully Black Friday. bit.ly/bully Black Friday, all lowercase, all one word, bit.ly/bully Black Friday. And if you want to tell me your depression story or your imposter syndrome story, I'd love to read them on the air. Make sure you send me an email, dave@businessbullyshow.com, and I will check you out later, because, well, that's what we do. All right. So take care.